Hi, today I'm reviewing the NARS Board de Plage Highlighting and Bronzing Palette. And really quick, I just want to say I purchased all these products with my own money, so you know you can trust my opinion is what I honestly believe. And this is the full-size palette, which sells for $59. And it's new from NARS, and it contains 4 highlighters and 2 powdered bronzers. So the highlighters are very shimmery. They're pretty natural looking for the most part. And then the bronzers both have a matte finish to it, which is pretty nice. And if you remember from a few months ago, NARS had another banc sable palette that came out, and there's actually one color that is purely identical, which is the top of these, the lightest color. It's the exact same, and then it's got, this one has 2 other colors that are different but still kind of in the same color family. So if you already own this, you probably don't need to run out and purchase this unless for some reason you need a bronzer. And let me point out a bronzer. This one on the new NARS palette looks pretty similar to the Too Faced Cocoa Contour palette. If you look at the 2 matte bronze colors, one's a little bit lighter, and then there's one that's a little bit darker, and they're pretty similar. So that you might not, if you have those handy, you might not need to run out and pick up the new palette. So I just want to point out that there are a significant amount of closely related colors. And I know last time I said dupes, and they're not dupes for this one, but they're pretty darn close. And this is the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess, which is just a highlighter. And if you look, you can see that it's pretty similar to the color in the bottom middle row. So I just want to point that out, that there's quite a few similar colors. And then there's one other one I wanted to point out, actually one that was pretty affordable I just picked up a few days ago. This is the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. And this one is pretty similar to the bottom right color. It's almost right in between, and this I think was $9. And after using this for a few days, it performs very similar to the NARS palette. So for $9, it's a nice option to have. So it is in a more expensive palette at almost $60. And a little more expensive when you have so many things that could be pretty much considered dupes or very similar. So, and let me get you some swatches of this. So this is basically my 5 reasons you don't need to purchase this. So the first one was that the price was about $60, pretty expensive. The second one is that it's very similar to the initial NARS palette. And the third reason was because of all the dupes or similar colors you can find out there. And then let me give you some swatches here. So the thing that makes this palette more unique than other palettes is the fact that it can be used both wet and dry. So I'm going to give you some swatches so you can get a feel for what they look like. That kind of helps in making your decision. So these are the dry swatches, and now I'm going to go through with a damp brush and give you some swatches of them with the wet brush. So you can definitely tell that when the colors are swatched with a wet brush, it definitely gives it more intense pigment. It definitely can be used to accentuate higher areas of the face. And if you like to apply makeup with a beauty blender, might be good, or a sponge, or even just a damp brush, definitely can do a good job giving you some swatches there. So this definitely is a decent palette. But another reason why you should probably hold off is that a lot of the companies are coming out with new products soon. Towards the beginning of fall, I think Estee Lauder is doing a new makeup line with Victoria Beckham, and Too Faced is coming out with more sweet peach options. So definitely, if you're on a budget, you might want to hold out until then. You definitely don't want to have the regret of not being able to pick something else out. And then also with NARS is their recent stance on animal testing changing. They decided to sell to China recently, which means their products will be tested on animals because of that. So, and they were a long time promoting themselves as cruelty-free, and unfortunately that is not the case any longer. So this is a decent palette, but if you've got other palettes out there and are on a budget, I would definitely say feel free to pass on this. But if you have big time fear of missing out on something, and you didn't get the first palette that came out, because that has some very similar colors and one identical. So if you don't have that and you feel like you need to have it, then definitely feel free to rush out and pick it up. But there's more than enough reasons that if you have any type of makeup collection at all, you probably don't need this. So I am curious if you guys have had a chance to pick this up. What are your thoughts on it? And also, what are your thoughts on animal testing? Does that impact what companies and lines you buy from? Or do you just try to not think about it at all and pick out something just because you love it? It's definitely out there and it's happening, and the only way we can speak is with our pocketbooks, by not picking or purchasing products from lines that do that. But I know there are definitely some of you out there, and sometimes I can be the same way, where I've got to have it and I will compromise my values just this one time because I have to have this. But anyway, I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that, and also feel free to subscribe. Thank you guys.